occupy your seat.
Welcome back to the session 2 of day 2. We are honored to welcome Dr. Punita Sanna ma'am, a distinguished expert in digital forensic and cyber security. With a diverse experience across corporate, government and research sectors, she holds a PhD from the University of Hyderabad and IDRBT, a premier institute under the Reserve Bank of India. Dr. Punita ma'am has previously worked as a cyber forensic expert at the Telangana State Police Academy and a software engineer at TCS. She has trained professionals from the Indian Air Force, Telangana Police, the banking and corporate sectors. Her research focuses on countering malware threats, ransomware, and integrating blockchain into forensic investigation. With her expertise in malware analysis, file system forensics, and OSINT, we look forward to an insightful session. Ma'am, we invite you to take over the session too. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I good without mic? Am I good without mic? Like, am I audible? Am I audible? Yes. Then I'll just not use the mic then.
That's okay.
Like, I've been moving around a lot, so I thought it would be better.
Yeah, you keep aside whenever required.
So, near to good afternoon. So, good afternoon, everyone. As said, I'm Pranita. I just completed my PhD from University of Hyderabad, and currently I'm working as a research scientist with Sierra Institute. It's again based in Hyderabad, University of Hyderabad. And my research area of research is digital forensics. So today I'll be introducing you to digital forensics and then applications of machine learning in digital forensics. I know I'm in between of you and your lunch break, so I'll try to stick on to the time and will not, try to extend the session. So just before starting the session, I just wanted to understand my audiences as well. So how many of you know what is digital forensics, or at least heard of it? What is it like? Anything about digital forensics that you have heard of earlier? Anyone? I just want to understand the audience. So if not, then I have to start from the basics. So that is the reason I'm asking. So considering that, because I haven't seen any raised hands, I believe that digital forensics is completely new to you all. So let us start with the basics of digital forensics and how machine learning can be, integrated into digital forensics for different purposes. So to start a bit. So I'm starting with introduction to digital forensics, then types of digital forensics, followed by anti-forensics, then applications of machine learning in digital forensics as well as in anti-forensics. It is going to be a very interesting session in a way that, let us say, how many of you are interested in investigations? At least suspense movie, thriller movies, at least to some extent. Not a suspense or thriller movie at least here, but sort of investigations. Real-time case studies, I have got some, screenshots, something from the real case studies, and I have incorporated into the session today. Hope that you will find it interesting. So, be with me. It's not like it is completely new and you'll not be interested. I am trying to, motivate you to pursue digital forensics as your career objective or for your research in your future directions. So, what is digital forensics? It is investigation of a digital media. When I say digital media, it is any digital media which incorporates your laptops, pen drives, systems, networking devices, anything, any digital media. So, investigating the digital media post occurrence of an incident is called a digital forensics. Normal investigations also in normal traditional crimes, if you see anything, what does traditional crime have? Post-crime investigations will be there. Like they will seize the crime scene and then they do the forensic science, like capturing the fingerprints and all. Similarly, in digital forensics, we try to capture the digital fingerprints over the digital media that are left over the digital media. So, I can say that digital forensics is only possible post the occurrence of an incident. Before incident, I want to do digital forensics before incident? No. Only once the incident happened, you want to investigate how did it happen, what could have helped you to stop it, or who has actually committed it. That investigation is called digital forensics. Now, what does it involve and who does it? It is done by law enforcement agencies like your police department, or third-party security auditors like cybersecurity companies or some private investigation companies. Even we on our part can do the basic investigations on our machines provided we know basic tools of digital forensics, which we will cover in today's session, at least 2. Okay. So what is OSINT? OSINT is open source intelligence. We use open source intelligence because forensic tools are very costly. If you try to see a forensic tool, like let us say a disk analysis tool, if I want to analyze this particular PC, if I start using my forensic tools, it may cost something around 2 crore rupees with the licensing for every year, which is very costly. So what basically law enforcement and other companies are doing is they rely on open source intelligence. They provide proper proof of work and then they start doing their forensics. So open source intelligence, we will be using open source intelligence in today's session as well to perform forensics. So this is introduction to digital forensics, that is investigating the traces of evidence post the occurrence of an incident. Traces is how did it happen, where did it happen, where did it origin, what were the problems, why did it happen, all these things. So why is it important to have digital forensics? First thing is legal compliance. So these days if you see the auditing teams, security auditors are mandating organizations to have digital forensics readiness a mandate clause. If you see the auditing, the points to be implemented, the auditing responsibilities, for example, CA auditing, certified authority auditing, they have a clause mandating that you need to be digital forensically ready. Why is that? Let us assume tomorrow in your organization there is some incident and you are not forensically ready. So there may be a chance that your digital evidence which was there on your machine, you may be tampering it out of your own ignorance or maybe wantedly, intentionally, someone in the organization may himself may tamper the evidence. So it is really important for us to maintain a proper digital forensic readiness in each and every organization, so that whenever an incident happens, we make sure that whatever the evidences we are submitting to the court of law is complete. It is not tampered. So that is the first, legal compliance. Next, incident response. So why do you think incident response? Incident response is after incident. Okay. How digital forensics will help you in incident response? How? How digital forensic may help in incident response? So let us say today we have a cyber incident in a software company. Okay. They have done a proper investigation. They have certain findings that there is some misconfiguration in their settings, configuration files, and then they try to fix that particular thing. So what does this come? Incident response. So it actually, digital forensic actually prepares you for the next incident, so that you can avoid the next incident. Then data recovery. So how many of you over here might have tried to recover the deleted file? Very, very obvious. You might have seen that your pen drives have some files and suddenly it is gone and you want to recover that. Everyone's day in and day out problem. How to recover deleted file? Data recovery is also a part of digital forensics. It's not just limited to recovering data, but also preserving the data in forensical sound manner, such that when you're presenting that particular data which is recovered in the court, no one should argue saying that, okay, this was not, you may have modified the file. Okay, that is always a chance. Let us say there are too many insider threats. You see high impact cases, okay, with high influences, where the internal law enforcement agencies by themselves try to tamper the evidence. So when this happens, the evidence which is being presented at the court, we have to prove that we have not modified the evidence. So it is not just recovery, but also how to preserve it in a sound manner so that we can win the case. It can be presented in the court trials. So this is, and cyber security, as I said, will help in mitigating the cyber attacks. So digital forensics has sequence of 5 steps: identification, preservation, analysis, documentation, and presentation. Identification, let us assume that it is, there has been a ransomware attack. Okay, let us assume there has been a ransomware attack. Basically, how does a ransomware attack happen? It happens with a phishing email. Most of the cases, a ransomware attack is triggered by a phishing email. So now, who did receive this phishing email? Which system actually happened to receive this email? What was the IP address of this particular machine in the entire network? Is the identification process. Okay, this is identification of recognizing the potential devices for digital evidence. If let us say there was a smartphone that was used for a particular sharing of some obscene content, let us say, then what is the digital evidence here now? Your mobile phone. Let us say the particular person did not maintain anything on his smartphone, neither on his hard disk or his own personal machine, but he happened to put everything in on the cloud. It also happens when you try to investigate that particular person's machines, laptops, PCs, etc. Nothing is found on his machine. What does it mean? Does it mean that he's a clean sheet guy? No. He has stored it in some other media like cloud. So we have to identify properly what are the digital evidences involved in a particular case. That is identification. Preservation. Now coming to preservation, let us say there was a particular case wherein a particular police officer happened to visit a cyber cave. Okay, it was a cyber cave. It was having this scanners, when you need to pass scanners. So there was a cyber cave where this police investigator happened to land in, and he happened to identify a particular system. That was a case of a 19-year-old guy trying to, stalk high school girls. Okay, he was stalking high school girls. When his system was analyzed, there were almost 200 victims. But this case came into light because only one particular student happened to report in a police station. So in that particular case, what did happen is the police officer happened to visit the cyber cave. They happened to land in the cyber cave. That case investigation is also very interesting. I'll let you know if time permits by the end of the session. So how it did happen is, they happened to identify a cyber cave. They landed in the cyber cave. They happened to identify and seize the system as well. But they didn't have the proper equipment to seize the digital evidence. Let us say you have hard disk in your machine. They extracted the hard disk. But then they just kept it in their laptop bag and just passed through the scanners. Okay, and that scanner has electromagnetic radiations which actually tampered your magnetic disk. So the disk was completely damaged. It was very hard to prove that that guy was adversary. So such kind of mistakes we do happen. So what is important is how to preserve it. So whenever you are dealing with such kind of electronic media, it is required that you have a proper bags, like Faraday bags. We have Faraday bags. You might be seeing that wallet purses you will have with some RFIDs. Similarly, we have some Faraday bags which blocks this electromagnetic radiations. So these kind of things are required. Now let us say you have identified a cell phone which is malicious. Let us assume that the cell phone was identified in a cyber terrorism case, in a bomb blast case. Now when you seize this phone, you have to immediately block the incoming and outgoing calls to stop the damage. So immediately you put it in a Faraday bag. Why? You stop the further communication. So that is how important it is to preserve the evidence. So you have to use proper equipment. You have to identify, like in particular case, because the police personnel were not so good at technical things, they even captured the LAN cables. They seized the LAN cables. So out of ignorance, what will they get out of LAN cable? So out of ignorance, they actually happen to seize the LAN cables as well with the proper labeling and all. So what is to be identified, what is to be kept is what we have to check. Analysis. So now, once you have this entire disk or the system available, you have the hard disk, everything available. Now how to analyze that particular digital evidence is what you have to look in analysis part. So let us say we are trying to analyze, let us say a cyber stalking case, okay, cyber stalking case. Then in that particular case, what is his browser history? What are the frequent activities he did use? Which website did he visit? What are who are in his frequent contacts? What is his call history? All these things are a part of your analysis. How do you build the entire case based out of the victim's statement? How do you build the entire case? The analysis depends on this particular thing. So we will see certain case analysis as well in today's session, if time permits. And then finally, presentation. Now, most of the cases go are not justified because the investigating officer is not able to present the case to the jury in a proper forensic sound manner. So let us say I have seized this machine. when I'm seizing this machine, I forget to make a note of the serial number. Let us assume the serial number is there in this machine, I forget to note it. But in my internal system, there is some intruder in my system, like insider attacks. He changed the serial number. In the port, I am presenting something else, and the device is having something else. So how are you presenting it? They will question it. So when you are seizing a device, what are the details? How do you need to take a photograph? Backside of the system, front of the system, serial number, make and model, what were the applications running, photograph, everything. So all these things have to be done in a very forensic sound manner. There is also a particular certification course for handling digital evidence by itself. If you see, there is a course on certified forensic investigator. There is also a course or a certification course, just like your Amazon developer, Oracle developer, you have a course on handling digital forensic evidence, which is really very costly. And each day, every day, new digital media is coming up. How do you handle each of them? So all these intricacies are very important, and that is where the presentation comes. So these are the phases of digital forensics. I hope now you know what is that we are going to talk about. Now, having discussed about digital forensics, we have different types of digital forensics based on the type of media involved in a particular cyber incident. So, computer forensics, regular computers are involved in computer forensics. Mobile device forensics, your mobile handsets. Okay. In mobile devices, yes, IoT forensics is separate, in which your smartphones, sensors, smart homes are having many different sensors these days. So those sensors are investigated in IoT forensics. Then there is also one thing, drone forensics is also now new. Drone forensics. Cloud forensics is completely different. My research area, cloud forensics. Very new challenges you see in cloud forensics, if you see. Let us assume I am a user of Google Cloud. I take a particular virtual instance for lease. I use that instance and commit some crime. After committing the crime, I discard my VM. Later, the cloud service provider will take this VM, my resources, and allocate to someone else. So whatever evidence was there on my resource is now overwritten by someone else. So there is very high challenges that how do I do investigation of forensics in cloud. Mostly people are relying on cloud because it is very easy and the detection rate is very less. So cloud forensics. Network forensics, like DOS attacks, everything is happening. Mostly network forensics, what I personally believe, it is it is not post, it is pre. Like DOS attack is happening, you are identifying the malicious traffic and then you are stopping it. So network forensics, something like that. But if you have network traffic also captured, which most of them will not do, but if that is happening, then network forensics. You will analyze the packet traces, where is it coming, source, IP, destination. Let us say there is a website called whois.com. Okay. Let us say I happen to receive a particular email address from particular IP number. I try to get who is the IP owner of this particular IP address, his contact number. How do I get this information then again? So if okay. So what we have is, let us say, in the case which I was telling, the cyber stalking case, I just quickly gave the introduction, how did this case investigation proceed and where does the network forensics and all come into place. So this case is that this guy was targeting international schools, like they are well settled, corporate parents are there and they are well settled, highly high paid fees schools. The girls of those high paid field schools were targeted. He was having an intimate talk with these girls day in and day out, asked their private photographs and all. He collected a complete database of it and he was stalking them. Like he was telling, if you are not doing this, I'm going to do this, and he was started blackmailing. And he is just a 19-year-old guy. He has a pawn shop. He's just having a pawn shop, just imagine. Now when they were trying to analyze this case, these people were not able to land up to the guy who was actually doing it, because the guy was using Tor network, Tor browser. You might be knowing the Tor browser. There is the Onion routing browser, which will hide your anonymity. It will keep you anonymous over the internet. Like you are completely anonymous over the internet. So he was using Tor browser, and when the investigation started, what happened is like that girl was getting these messages over her phone. So first they asked for call data records. Okay, we'll see what are call data records. From there, telecom service provider. that is Airtel or something else. They asked, she is getting calls from some, service provider, telecom service provider is not just responsible for call data records, but is also responsible for IP data records. Because you'll be using your mobile data, your IP data will also be coming along with your call records. So what happened is, the police officers happened to ask the service provider, can you please provide us the IP data records of this particular user? As soon as they got this particular information, what they asked is that when they happened to trace the IP address, I'll show you how does an anti-DR also look like. When they started tracing, the IP address which they found was on Tor network, and hence they were not able to identify this particular candidate. So what they did is, they were very intelligent. What they did is, they did some social engineering on that particular guy. What are his interests? They try to find out through this girl. Okay, what is that motivates him? What is that he is interested into? All those things were social engineered, gathered, and a relevant website, phishing website, was developed by the police officers by themselves. They developed the phishing website. Now, when they developed the phishing website, they are the owners of the website. They know who is visiting their website. So by some or the other means, that guy was chatting with her over Facebook. So the police officer also happened to approach Facebook as well. But Facebook takes a lot of time to respond. But based on the sensitivity of the case, if you see, Facebook has got this website for law enforcement. Facebook has got it, Instagram has got it. Every social networking website has a law enforcement page wherein they can log in and raise a ticket and they have to resolve. But this takes 15 to 20 days of time. In sensitive cases, there is even though there is a life threat, will not be able to get immediate response from them. That is the drawback. So what they did is, they did social engineering. They developed their own website, and then what happened is, because they are the owner of this particular website, they know who is visiting it. Somehow, using this girl, they asked that guy to click on this particular link. Like, they created some heart shape with some flowers and balloons and all, and this guy happened to click. With the service provider information, they gave the IP address. Now the IP address they went to who is this website.com. You can check who is this .domain, who is this, okay. In that they gave the IP address. He stated who is the owner of, who is the service provider, internet service provider, like Beam Telecom, Act FiberNet. From them they got the CAF, the customer application form. The customer application form belonged to a cyber thief. There they went, and then they saw the CCTV footages on this particular time frame. This particular message was received, who is in the CCTV, who is a frequent visitor. Like that, this particular case got resolved. So in this, network forensics was used for tracking that IP address. Okay. Computer forensics was used to extract the illegal content that he had on his machine. Mobile forensics or mobile device was used to identify his mobile activity. What are the other things or the other contacts, actually other accused people, not accused, victims, other accused victims we were able to get. So these all are part of, different devices involved in a particular case. So this is how all those things are related. Now quickly I'll show you a demo of how do we create an image of a particular system and how do we analyze it. Okay, so it may help you to correlate with the other future sessions that we are going to have. So first thing, imaging. Okay, so what do you mean by imaging? Let us assume that this is a particular system which is identified in a crime scene. So I take this machine and take it to a forensic lab. The forensic lab investigator will not sit on this machine and do investigations. No. If he start doing this, he will tamper the evidence which is there on this machine, and it will be difficult for them to present it in the court of law. And hence they are supposed to create an image, a clone of this particular machine. So there are two processes. One is imaging, one is cloning. Imaging is image is just like a file, an ISO file, as good as an ISO file which you can mount, or a file which you can mount on your forensic workstation and start your analysis. Clone. Clone is exact bit by bit copy of the hard disk which is there on this machine onto the other machine. By doing cloning, it is just like a system. Okay, it is not a file which you need to mount. It is just like another system with all the evidential artifacts that are there on the system. Okay, cloning and imaging. So let us say cloning. If I am going to when should we use imaging and when should we use cloning? So we use imaging in the situations where we, let us say that there is a cyber incident in a corporate situation, okay? The servers will be running on some terabytes of storage. And if I am there to sit and clone the entire storage, I need 5 TB of storage again to store 5 TB of data, cloning, okay? So what I do imaging. What I say, okay, C drive, D drive, different partitions are there. Let me take C drive because mostly C drive is suspicious. So I take the image of C drive, partition ka image. I'll take only the image of the partition and start my analysis. As good as that. So in situations, if it's a small GB pen drive, you can have a complete clone, not a problem. But then if you are cloning, you need to have exact replica storage of this device. Okay. In imaging, that is not required. It may be even compressed, but at the same time, it is not going to affect the system. Okay. It will not tamper your evidence. So first thing is it preserves your original evidence. Let us say when I am compressing, is there any data loss? No, there is no any. There will not be any kind of data loss when you are imaging. Allows multiple people to investigate. I will create multiple files of image files. I will work on it, you will work on it, other people will work on it. If it's a clone, only one can work on it. You have to create replicas of clones, which is really difficult again. So, cloning and imaging. So, allows multiple investigators. Captures deleted and hidden data. How a hidden data will be there, how a deleted file will be there, we'll see. So, we will be even able to recover the data which is hidden in unallocated spaces by imaging. Okay. So, this is imaging part. And this is for analysis part. So there are two things in forensics. One is imaging, one is analysis. Imaging is creating the copy of the evidence. Analysis is restoring the copy of the evidence and doing your analysis. Okay. So there are different tools for imaging, different tools for analysis. FTK, which we have seen earlier, is an imaging tool. It also have an analysis tool. Autopsy is for analysis. It's an open source tool. FTK Imager is free. FTK Analyzer is paid version. So you have if and else but combination. So if you are imaging anything using FTK Imager, it is admissible in the code. If you are doing your forensic analysis using Autopsy, it is not admissible in the code. You have to use paid softwares. But still, because of lack of budget and resources, we still use these tools. Okay. Now, let us quickly see how do we image a particular. Okay. How do we image? So. Oh, then I have multiple using. I have multiple switching around. I hope the session is interesting to some extent, if not completely. So, anyone has a pen drive, if you don't mind. It will take time on. Anyone? She's having?
Ma'am, wait, ma'am. Ma'am.
Or pen drive? No, I just want to show how do we take the image of a pen drive because it is easy. So, if it is there, it's okay. Otherwise, I'll take the image of a partition. Okay. So, this is an FTK imager. This is how it looks like. It is by Access Data. It's a company which is the manufacturer of this particular tool. So, how do we do it is, so, file, add evidence item. Okay. So, currently this is the evidence, let us assume. Okay. It is assumed this is the evidence. How do we analyze this evidence is not like just directly plugging into my system. If I directly plug it into my machine, the timestamp of this device or the files will change. So I am not supposed to connect it directly, but for lack of resources, I am currently doing it. But how do you do it? You use a write blocker. Okay. What we do? There is called write, W-R-I-T-E, write block. It blocks write operations. So what you do? There is a. It's just like a USB hub. Okay. It's just like a USB hub. You connect your port external device to this write blocker. Write blocker is connected to your forensic workstation. Okay. So no one can. It is having read-only permission. It's not going to tamper your evidence with read-only permission. So you will connect the pen drive or any evidence artifact. You will not connect it directly to the forensic workstation for the very reason that it will tamper the evidential artifacts. So what we do, we connect it to a write blocker. There are two kinds of write blockers, software write blockers and hardware write blockers. Hardware write blockers are the physical hub. Software write blockers are something which blocks the permission of write on a evidential artifact. Okay. Now let us connect this pen drive. Got it. Okay. So assuming the pen drive to be our evidential artifact. So first we will go to File, Add New Evidence Item. Is it a physical drive or a logical drive? Logical means partition, C drive, D drive, etc. This will be logical drivers in cases of server machines. Okay, in corporates you have servers where you want to partition of one particular drive, you can take this one. If not, you will go with this physical drive. Currently I will take this physical drive. Next. So here it shows, this is how much GB? 8 GB. So this is not yet populated because this one is blocking, my antivirus is blocking it. Ideally, okay. How it does is, if this loads your USB pen drive over here, once you select this one and you click on finish, it starts this particular, this is your evidence item. Okay. Now this is your evidence item. Right click on it and just say export this image. Okay. And where do you want to store it? I just say add. This is the file format. How do you want to store the image file? Is it a raw format or written E01? I told you that image files can even be compressed, right? If you want a compressed file, you can go with E01. AFF is Advanced Forensic format. Okay. So these are file extensions for your image files. Like we have .docx, .exe. Similarly, these are the file extensions for our image files. Now I select E01 and I click on Start. Okay. Some case metadata like case number, case investigator, some information. Okay. And then I start. Where do you want to store the image? I'll just put it on desktop and I'll say okay. And image file name. Mostly it will be your case name or your FIR number, and then you click on finish and you will start. And it starts. Okay. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. My system has with 16 GB RAM. Okay. Currently I am trying to partition of 100 GB. It is 2 GB pen drive. It takes 10 minutes hardly. 32 GB 15 minutes. As size increases, even this imaging process can take 7 to 8 days as well. It happens. Even if it's a server machine, months together it takes only for imaging part. So that is the problem and that is a drawback of forensics, that it is very late, and that is the reason the equipments are very costly, because they come with a lot of computing power. So this is how it starts, and as it reaches the end we will have a .e01 file or a .aff file which we can analyze it forensically. Now this is an image file. This you can share it across different members involved in the investigation, and they can parallelly do the investigations. Okay. Now this is imaging. Currently I cancel this particular thing. I just cancel it. This is how your data will be on your disk. This is the data how it looks on your disk, the raw data. Okay, it is random. It is in hexa format. It's not in a readable format. You will need the appropriate application or the parser to understand or read the content which is there on your disk. Okay. This is called hex dump. Hex dump. Okay. This is the hex data. It's in hex code. So it is hex dump. So this is imaging. This is clear to here. Any doubts still here? Anyone any doubts still here? Imaging. Now we'll see analysis part. Maybe you'll be interested because you'll be able to recover your deleted content as well, even in your machines. So once the imaging is done, we have another tool, Autopsy. Okay, Autopsy. It's a free tool which is used for disk analysis. It performs really well when the size of your evidence is really small. Really small, I tested it till 128 GB, it was working fine. Okay. I tried to test it on 500 GB, it started but it ended abruptly. So we don't know the reason why it breaks, but mostly it breaks as the size of the evidence increases. So if it is small enough, you are good to go with autopsy, like your pen drives and all, it will do it really well. So what does an autopsy do? How do you add evidence to autopsy now? So these are free tools. You can just browse or Google it for autopsy. You will download it. Installation is very easy, as simple as you are installing a VLC player, and then you can start. Now you see here, you will add data source, or this is a report. So I have to add a new case. Case, okay, new case. The case name, let us say demo case, okay. Where we store the information, etc., etc. Next, case metadata, some metadata, and then you click on finish. Okay, it starts preparing the case database. Okay, a case may not only have one evidential artifact; it may have multiple resources which you can actually add to that particular case. Okay, it's not just that one pen drive or one hard disk. Many cases you need to add, you can add. This is where machine learning comes into place, where it actually get the data from different sources, pile it up, and do the data analysis part. So, okay, it is asking me to select the data source. Data source means the image file that we have actually generated the image file just now. So it is now asking me where is the image source. But now we have not created any, so I will use the existing case which I have already done. So once you actually browse the case, okay, then it will ask you to click on an analyze button. Okay, you have to click one more step, analyze, and you leave it. It will take 24 hours, 1 week, 10 days, depending on the size of your storage. It will analyze and finally it will generate a report. Okay, it generates an analysis report like this. Now, if you see what are there in this particular report, if you see what is there in this particular report, we have email messages. If you see, okay. First, let us go with this one. What are the different file types available? Okay. What are the deleted files? If you see, click on this one. These are file system files. Okay. In operating system, you know file systems. Okay. Something related to your operating system. These are file system files. You click on this one, all. It will list all the files that have been deleted in your machine. Okay. So let us say some file .png. Okay. Right click, extract files. Okay. You click on extract files. It will ask you where do you want to store this. Okay. Now, once you extract a file and you store it, this particular file is available for review in that particular location. You can just go to that particular location, open that file. As simple as that. Okay. Deleted files. We can recover deleted files. This is the first important thing that you can do with autopsy. Any file. You just need to create an image of your system or your pen drive and then create an image of that particular file. And then you have to give it to autopsy. It will list the deleted files. Next we have emails. So let us say if you are working on your machine, in some machines you have Outlook configured. Okay. What are the email IDs? It will be actually giving you the email IDs. I will show that as well. Are there any emails associated with this particular machine? Will be listed here. Then they have installed programs. What all are the applications that are installed on this machine? Let us say I am installing some malicious software and I am looking out for that particular application. Let us say I suspect Tor browser usage. I will check for if Tor browser is installed. So what are the softwares installed in this one? Like you can go here and check what are the different softwares that are installed. Okay, here it comes a name. Okay, MPlayer, WIC, whatnot, address book, different things. Okay, this was an image of some what I see, cloud image I believe. Okay, so different things will be available over here, installed programs. Then we have recent documents. Why do you think we need recent documents? In investigations, do we really need recent documents? Will it help? Yes? So if you see my recent documents, there is a particular application called SDLete. There are certain things called pictures. Okay? So this gives me an intuition that there were certain pictures which were actually deleted. Okay? Looking at the file, recent activities of that particular adversary, I get an intuition. What are the recent activities? So let us say you the attack is live and it is active, okay, and you suddenly rush into the system. You just go with guns and all, and you are trying to do the investigation. Then recent activities are really helpful. What application was running? Why? Mostly recent files also will help you. Not recent files. When a system is active and live, it will help you to analyze the passwords which are there for an encrypted file. So when a file is there in an encrypted format, okay, let us assume there is a file which is an encrypted format. Now you have directly got into the system and you are seeing a particular machine is working on a particular file, you seize that particular machine, but you find that the file is encrypted. Now you need a decryption key now. Now this is a challenge. Why will an intruder will share his decryption key? He will not. So in such kind of live machines, we can extract the passwords using live memory forensics, which I actually missed earlier. Live memory forensics, that is the passwords, what are the current programs, applications running, will be stored on your RAM. So you will try to capture the memory dump of the RAM in which you will have the stored passwords which you can use to decrypt the content. Okay. So such recent documents, recent activities actually will tell you what were the recent application which was running at that point in time, related to which you can get some information in your memory dump. Okay, this is recent activities. Then recycle bin. What are the files that have been deleted but not deleted from the recycle bin? Like you have just click on delete, not shift delete. Okay, something like that can be recovered. However, we can recover that from deleted files as well. Okay. Now run programs. Yes. Yes.
Two, three things we have explained recently.
Yes.
One is whatever file we are going to delete, that is available in our recycle bin, in normal system. So again, if I want to restore that one, so whenever I click on going to recycle bin and after clicking on the file and click on the restore, it again it came to the old location. It's one thing. You say that recent documents password. How password will be detected, because whenever we are going to change, suppose my RAM is 4 GB and I am running an application of 17 GB or 18 GB, so it will change. All the things will going to change. All the data will be going to be refreshed every day. How we can recall the password?
So password will be in its raw format in your memory dump. It will be as good readable as actually. Your memory dump will look something like this. Okay, I'll show you how does it.
Password is secondary LC, madam. But here, what is the difference?
There are two things, sir. One is you want to identify the password, which is a complete different scenario. One is file deletion, which is a complete different scenario.
Yes, first we begin with file deletion.
File deletion. So file deletion, what happens is basically when you are deleting a particular file, what you actually try to do is, I will just spend some time.
My question is little bit, madam, here,
Yes.
because whatever you say, madam,
Yes.
we can do with the normal system also.
Yes.
So what is the requirement of this software?
Sir, if you have
Will
deleted.
it do any better than that one and
Yes.
for that one?
Yes. Let us say that we have deleted a file which is not there in recycle bin.
Yes.
How do you recover it?
That is not directly possible, but through Linux we can recall.
Linux, yes, of course.
Uh,
Adobe is also such software.
okay.
You can recover the deleted file.
Hmm.
You even don't know that particular file was deleted. Let us say you have deleted a particular file with no knowledge.
Yes.
You have deleted it genuinely, so it is available in recycle bin, you go and restore it.
Yes.
But what if something is deleted without your knowledge? You are deleting some random files, and after some point in time you want to restore it, which is not even available in your recycle bin.
Yes.
Then in that case, this particular thing can help you to recover that particular deleted data.
Okay, whatever we are doing with the control and delete.
Complete deletion.
Complete deletion. It's not going to recycle it directly.
Deleted.
out.
Yes.
But we can recall.
Yes. We
For
can.
that purpose, these softwares are used.
Yes.
Because the maximum time what happens, suddenly one two cases are there. Income tax people are trying to, suppose my system having so much data in the company, I formatted all the data. Formatted all the data.
Yes.
And after that again, the expert will retrieve all the data whatever.
Correct. I'll explain how that's.
But one more thing is there.
Yes.
But one more thing is there. I format all my data. 4 GB data was there. I formatted all the data. And after that I done another data.
Yes. Data override. Yes.
Override. Data override. So is it possible to extract that data also?
That takes.
Data overriding is not possible.
Not possible. That I'll explain now with an example, sir. The file deletion, let us assume this is your file. Okay, f1.txt. Let us assume f2.txt. This is your file. Let us say it is having some content. Hello world. Let us assume this is the file content. Okay. Now this is your index. This is your file system. So basically, like file systems like NTFS, ext file systems. This is your file system, NTFS. For the better understanding, I am just putting file system as an index table. So this is my address. This is my hard disk.
These all entities are available in either FAT or NTFS.
Yes. Now just let me come. So this is 1001. Okay. This is file 1 address. 1002 f2.txt. Okay. Now when you are actually deleting, this entry is deleted, but the content is intact. So only you are able to recover the file. Okay, but when overwriting happens, it is not just this one. The content which is there is written with some other content. Let us say Apple. Now recovery is not possible. Data is overwritten. Why does data overwriting happen? Is I'll tell you. This is hello. Okay, this is hello now. So what happens here is, let us say it assumes that because 1001 is empty, it assumes that there is no content stored over here. So it says that okay, 1001 is available for my next file. You can store next file in this particular location. Even though the content is there, it is overwritten with new content. Let us say file 3.txt, which is having content like Apple. Now it is not possible to recover the data. It is completely lost. Now, when you are doing formatting, also this information is formatted. Your disk is still intact. So only you are able to recover. If you want to make sure that your data is completely lost, you have to do something called as data sanitization. Data sanitization. What we do in data sanitization is the entire content is written with 0000, 1111. Then the traces is not available.
But
That is happening.
some agencies are claiming that if your hard disk is there, hard disk is totally destroyed. Even pieces. Hard disk plates are divided into pieces. But they are claiming that I can extract the data.
Yes. There was a cyber terrorism case in which the hard disk was bombarded.
Ah.
Even then, there are such special setup. I have been visiting this CID block, sir. We have it at Nampally. They have a separate room with the proper equipment where they will actually collect these pieces and connect these wirings. If you are really interested in how these things are happening, you can view the papers of Sujit Shenoy. He is a US-based, he's into US-based army services. I recently happened to attend a conference. I got the privilege to listen to his talks where he actually demonstrated how this hard disk, even after they are completely tampered, we can recover. Along with the circuit diagrams, they will show you it is hardware reverse engineering, they call it as. They perform different circuits, different hard disk will be there. Each circuit they'll add a pin there and start to get the electric pulse from there. So what data is there? It is possible. So they are calling it as hardware reverse engineering. I am not into it, but I have seen the equipment which does it.
People are claiming.
Yes, they are.
They are saying that if you are break all the parts of hard disk in the form of rust, okay, and after that we can take the data.
No, in the form of completely, if it is completely ashes,
Yes,
it's not
plating,
possible.
yes, they are plating.
Then that I don't know, but at least to some portion, some part of the hard disk is tampered, still the sectors which are intact can be recovered. I have not done that work, but I have seen papers and I have seen his presentation where he actually claimed, he actually proved that this happened. He was even in the part of this Bin Laden case was there, right, sir? He was in the team which actually shooted that entire, he was the technical support. At that particular place, whatever the evidences was tampered or damaged, he happened to recover those things and happened to do this. I actually got the concept of drone forensics after listening to his talk, because now these days drones are only manufactured by mostly China companies, and USA happened to procure these drones from China, and they are putting in their nuclear reactors wherever the nuclear reactors are there. From there, they are actually having this. For drone forensics also, they are providing a drone monitoring system. They are calling it as UMI. I don't remember. So what they are doing is, they are providing drones, they are providing the monitoring systems, they are monitoring the entire data of US nuclear reactors, they are exporting the data. So, China. China is actually pulling the data.
Yes, yes.
They did this hardware reverse engineering on the drones that were captured by China. They happened to see a what do we call this crypt block? There was a block, hardware block which encrypts everything, sir, which is not actually required in a monitoring device. But what was it that encrypting, even that they happened to decode using hardware reverse engineering. And in their decoding part, when they actually framed everything, they could see that the data is being exported to Alibaba cloud data source. That level they are into. They are doing hardware reverse engineering is very good and it's possible, but we have very less resources working in hardware. In fact, we have very less resources in digital forensics itself. We have very small community in digital forensics in India itself. So that was the challenge when we were discussing. So I encourage the students and the faculty here to take up this area, because this is really required. This is the need of the hour and we don't have resources. That is the problem. So that is the reason even ma'am happened to, incorporate this particular topic to make it aware that we have such kind of area which is really required. Cybersecurity is exhausted. It is exhausting. It is very much available. Today, if you say, I have been facing a challenge when I was trying to provide a digital forensic readiness to a particular organization. They've asked me to provide, they are at level 0 because of auditing purposes, they are at level 0, they wanted to provide digital forensics for their organization. Now, when I was trying to check what is the digital forensic framework required by Indian government, I didn't find even a single document. That is shocking. We have documents for cyber forensic frameworks, but we don't have for digital forensic frameworks. So, a lot of work is to be done.
Soon it will be some participation of India will be there.
Yes.
Hopefully from you.
Should see, sir. Hopefully. So then there was some other question you asked, sir. How do we have passwords in RAM? So RAM will have the details of the applications that are currently running on the machine. So your RAM will have, even the passwords which are there you have will be as good as plain text on your RAM memory dump. It is very easy to extract, so provided we are using the appropriate tool. So it is very easy to extract the passwords if it is currently decrypted form. But the application is running and it is having a password, it is there in your RAM. That is available. You can as good as pull it from there. So this is about the 2 questions. Then any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. So next is we have, you see here, this is the web information. Web history, if you see, what are the web downloads? What are the web search? If you see the web search, I actually searched to download Tor browser. This one shows it. Download Tor browser. This was the search I have actually gave in the my Google search engine. Okay. So this is the web search. This is the web history. Okay. What the activities were done by the particular user using the internet services when he was using this application. What are the web downloads? What all he downloaded? Even the file is not available, you know which file was downloaded, the name of the file, then again you can download it from the internet. Okay. So these details, the path where it was downloaded will be available. And then you have something called as keyword hits. So let us say you are trying to investigate something related to child pornography, let us say. You know the keywords now, okay? Child, okay? You can use these keywords and give a data, you can load it as a table. You see that save as table CSV. So you can give your keywords which you are actually suspecting or in line of the proceedings of this particular case activities. You know there are certain keywords, like let us say I'm from Lucknow. Let us say there's a victim from Lucknow. So I'll search with keywords Lucknow. So what are the files related to this particular keywords will be populated in my keyword hits. So basically this is very useful because if you are ending up in a huge evidential artifact with almost 500 GB, 1 TB of terabytes of data, and you are supposed to search all the files, then it is really tedious job. So you use keyword hits. So you should be very good enough and giving how the keyword should be there. So this is keywords, and then we have finally the reports. So here you generate the reports. Basically, upon currently I'm not getting that option. As you click on right click, it will ask you, do you want to generate report? You have an option to generate report. So it will ask you in which format you want to generate the report. Is it in HTML format? Is it in a Word document? So all your analysis, this entire thing, what are the files deleted files, hash values of each and every file, which folder, which data is available, everything is generated in a report format, which you will be submitting in the code. That is the point. The file that is generated, the report which is generated by the tool, you will be submitting it as presenting it the code. So in that particular report, you will also having, I'll see if I have any report, I should be having. I'll just check if I have. I don't have one. Anyways, so once we generate a particular report, it actually generates the entire content which we are supposed to actually publish. Okay. This is about tools which we are actually discussing. Now, coming to the actual core concept of feeling bored. Then why do you want to go out? You want to use washrooms? Yes, definitely you can go and then come back. But am I boring you guys? I know having 2 hours of continuous session will be boring, I know. But do spare with me for next half an hour, at least 1 hour, 45 minutes.
Up to 1:30.
1:30, 45 minutes. Last 45 minutes I'll not bore you. Quickly I'll try to wind up the session. So now machine learning applications in digital forensics. DF is digital forensics, ML is machine learning. Okay. So why do we need machine learning and digital forensics? Basically, the benefits are it automates the data analysis process. As I said, it is not just that one particular data source we have. We have multiple data sources which we can actually, You want break?
Yeah, no.
Okay. So the thing is that what you do is you will collect the data from all the different resources and dump into one particular thing, and you start analyzing it manually. It is really tedious job. You cannot actually do it completely. So you depend on machine learning approaches for the purpose of data analysis. Okay. So then we have identifies patterns in digital evidences. Pattern analysis, I have a really good case study. That is my own research area. I'll demonstrate when I go with identification of pattern in digital evidences. Then reduces manual effort enhances accuracy. Yes, as good as it reduces manual effort and accuracy is definitely improved. We'll see how each and everything does happen. So we will be seeing applications of machine learning and digital forensics and all these things. So in FIR reporting. So you know what is FIR? Yes, first incident report. Yes, incident report, first information report. Sorry, my bad. So first information report. So can we use ML in FIR? Okay. We have machine learning in FIR. For malware detection and classification, for each and everything we have examples, good examples from live cases also. We'll definitely show those things to you. Then we have image and video forensics. You know, machine learning, I am currently working on file system machine learning, file system forensics, minus file system forensics. But this is image and video forensics. So machine learning is mostly into image and video forensics in comparison to the other areas of forensics. Then you have link analysis in call data record. You get anything like, what do you understand by link analysis in call data record? Link analysis in call data records. Then using LLMs for case investigations also. You know, ChatGPT is helping in case investigations as well. You give the entire report to ChatGPT, it is giving who can be the suspicious person also. We have actually experimented it also. But in some paid versions of ChatGPT, what you are supposed to do is you are supposed to give your own database. Okay, of the case. You have to give your own database of the case, and then ChatGPT actually pulls the, starts the link analysis and all, and it gives you who could be the suspicious person. Next we have, tampered file detection. Okay, let us say you have completed your investigation, everything, you say that you have found so and so, and at the end you find out that a particular file you actually had it as an evidence is actually tampered. Okay, the entire investigation effort will go waste. Okay, so how do we detect such kind of things? Even before starting the investigation is all about applying machine learning in that particular area. So FIR reporting, how we can have machine learning in FIR reporting. So the first thing is, it is saying automated FIR filing. This is for the purpose of the victim. Okay. He need not visit the police station anymore. He can have a chatbot. Okay, a chatbot will assist him. To generate an FIR. What are the cases? What he want to do? How he can do is what FIR does. Then it is for the purpose of investigator. How, you know? Can anyone tell me how an investigator use FIR? Who actually files this FIR? Police officer. It is noticed that most of the times the cases that are actually taken for court trials are simply not justified for the very basic reason that the police officer has included inappropriate penal sections, IPC sections, whatever is required for, let us say it is a data theft case, he has applied some other 420 case section. Okay. So because of that section, the prosecutor and the defender easily, bypasses the case. He says that this is not actually required, and according to this particular section, this is not applicable. So this automated FIR tool is suggesting the police officer based on the nature of the case which section is to be applied. Currently, this is being even practiced by our Cyberabad police. They are actually using this. They are in collaboration with IIIT Hyderabad. They are actually automating this FIR thing. Actually, these things are your research problems as well. Many things are there which are not yet addressed. Like duplicate or false FIR copy, it is not there till now, to my knowledge. Okay, I am not into this research, but to my knowledge. Then classification of crime. Once you categorize, you can categorize. Let us say I have a theft case. How many theft cases are there? Can be easily categorized. How can you do that? By using the keywords. Simple NLP you apply, and you then categorize or classify your data accordingly, and you classify your FIR copies. How many cases corresponding to a particular case? If you there is something called as CNN, Central Crime Network, CCN. Just a minute. CCTNS, Central Crime Tracking Network. Something it is there. It is an initiative by Government of India. So it is complete database where they are using a lot of machine learning algorithms, and these things are being used, wherein they are actually trying to pull the details corresponding to which police station or which particular state is ranking where, how many cases are closed by whom, what is being done. Everything is centrally monitored, and along with the help of machine learning algorithms, they are maintaining this. CCTNS they call it as. Central, you can search for it, CCTNS. Even you can raise your petitions using CCTNS if you have any. So CCTNS is something which is really helpful. Then we have duplicate FIR or false FIR. Do this really happen? Yes, this does also happen. Initially, it was like if you go to a police station, you have to give it in write-ups. Like this has happened, this has happened. Now, these days, because it is automated, the constable who is actually filing or the inspector who is filing the case, if he finds anything similar to the earlier case, is just copy-pasting the content. That is actually not suggested, but that is happening sadly. So if any such kind of things are being detected, it actually stops it. This is not there currently. That is the reason I am telling this is not there currently. But it's very simple. Copy paste same content. If it's there somewhere else in the database, you have to stop it. So it is as simple as that. It's very simple machine learning algorithms you see, and it is really effective. So these are machine learning applications for FIR. Okay. I am just opening the ground for you to take up any of the research area if you want to. Or if you have already done, we don't know, but you might have done this in some other application, in some other domain, but not definitely in digital forensics. So I just want you can try it in this one. We can give this as a tool to our law enforcement. They'll be very happy to use it. Actually, they need it. So now, crime pattern analysis. So crime pattern analysis, mostly like these days you see Kumbh Mela. Kumbh Mela, they are trying to identify the crime patterns. What are the different crime patterns? This is only because of the database that they have. They are again using machine learning algorithms. What are the different machine learning algorithms? For different kind of festival, different kind of crime patterns are observed. Like if you see the Sankranti festival, you have a different crime, like the what we call betting kind of crimes. So such kind of crimes, such nature could be actually, you can feed your network traffic into the system, and it can be network forensics. You can feed in your system, and your application, your model will actually detect what is the kind of pattern of your crime. Next, multilingual FIR. So basically what it is doing is it is translating your content in the regional languages. Okay. So most of the content which is given in the form of text, it is in the regional languages like Telugu or Hindi. They can be actually translated, or if it is given in English, can be translated into the corresponding languages, again using our normal NLPs. So this is one thing. Then you have voice-based FIR for accessibility. This is for the people who are in rural areas who are not able to come to the police stations and give their statement. For them, they are using this voice-based FIR filing facility. So it is using some speech-to-text conversion algorithms like that. So this is corresponding to machine learning applications in FIR. Then, what is call data record and how does it look like? I will see if in my mail, by the end of the session, if I have time, I'll see how does a call data record look like. So what is a call data record? It is a simple Excel sheet which even any of you can ask your service provider and you can get it. If you want to try experimenting your own, you want to try on link analysis of CDRs, okay, very easy. The data sets you will get it directly right from your service provider. The only clause is you have to call from your number, you should be the owner. You cannot ask CDR of some other person, even though you are parent, you cannot get it. So you can get the CDR calls. You need to ask call data records. So what data it will have is, it will have caller number, receiver number, timestamp, call duration, etc., etc. So basically if you see the image at the right side, so we have two things in call data analysis. One is tower dump analysis, call data analysis. So there is a tower in my location. There are number of calls happening in that particular location. Let us assume, let us assume it is a night time. Okay, it's night time. Mostly in night time at a particular location, the call activity will not be so vibrant. Okay, if the call activities are there, mostly it will be for lovebirds or thieves. Only that is the two situations we have. We have come across. Most of the cases, this is the situation. So what we do is we get the tower dump. It will give us the list of all the numbers that actually happened at that particular tower location. Now, after getting the entire tower dump, we apply machine learning algorithms on that particular thing to try which is the most frequent or mostly used or which is the most active number. Once we get that number, we get the CDR of that particular number now. Once we get the CDR, call data records of that particular accused person, we will further get his call history. What are the numbers he called upon? Now at this particular tower dump, at this particular time, he has called a particular number. The timestamp, along with the name of the person, we send a request to the service provider, telecom service provider, stating that I need the CDR of this particular number and CAF. Why do you think you need a CAF? Customer application form. Why do you request for a customer application form to a service provider?
Particular address.
Exactly, for address. Okay, but most of the cases that address will be fake addresses. That is a different challenge. Then how do they solve it? They use the CCTV footages then in the nearby. So this was a link analysis that was actually done. It is not the exact thing, but however it resembles it. Because in the original file we will have the phone numbers as well, whatever we have. So we are not supposed to reveal that. So what we have is we have different clusters. So now if you see the common points over there, those are the people, those who are in contact with different tower locations. So this was basically useful in bank theft cases, this kind of situation. Each person is at different location. They are placed in different locations and different tower locations. They get the tower dump from different locations. The call patterns, this analysis, everything is represented in one figure using machine learning. Okay, this entire thing is done using machine learning, this link analysis and all. However, there is still a lot of scope in CDR analysis. They have done it by using normal databases and SQL queries. Okay, but machine learning can do a lot in a way that it can identify hidden criminal networks which are not actually, we may not be knowing. As we see at a high level by using SQL queries. We may not be getting into that hidden level networks, but actually we will be having hidden networks which can be recovered using machine learning techniques. Then you have unusual calling patterns. Unusual calling patterns, if you see these days, this particular case. They are disguising as some government official. They are disguising as government official, and again this is a reference from the recent conference that I actually appeared. It is said that for 1 minute they are making 2 CR calls. They are reaching 2 crore people.
Without proper experience data, how can you ML?
Which one, sir?
ML, machine learning. Without doing proper experience data, how can you give the prediction of all the data?
No, sir. They are provided with data, sir. Law enforcement gives the data. Yes. So, because it is not possible for you, I said you ask for your CDR. You ask for your call data for 1 month. They will give you. On that, you can actually perform this analysis. You take your family members' CDRs and do this analysis, link analysis. You recreate a malicious situation and do this analysis. You can. Hidden network analysis. How we can actually get these networks. Ideally, there will be most of the time we will be looking for the most frequent patterns, but at times it is least frequent pattern. They only make one call and they are done. That's it.
Like outlier.
It could be outlier. So that kind of analysis can be done. You cannot get this data directly for your research. That's what I told you earlier. But you can get your own data from your service provider. You can get the family members' data, or you take 5 SIMs and recreate a situation, and then you can generate your own data set. In fact, you can do that. But this call data is not publicly available. It is because many other numbers, many private information will be available in the CDR, so they will not. Because you will have IMEI number, IMSI number, many things are there using which you can actually track the person. The IMEI number is used to, recently we have, in our group there was a discussion, there was a person who was missing. He was tracked using his IMEI number. He was not having the signals, but somehow he was not technically sound. It was in a pilgrimage. He was lost. Using his IMEI number, he was tracked. So basically in the group which I am there, I don't work on these real-time cases because I am being an academician or a researcher. I was earlier working for it, but now because we are not even having access to this real-time data, that is a challenge, but you can generate it anytime. Okay. Then IPDRs. So unusual calling pattern. I was talking about unusual calling pattern. So they have this entire setup. It was shown. It's just in a room. It is as big as this box. With lot many SIM slots. SIM slots are there in which all the SIMs are just placed in it, and it makes 2 CR, it is reaching 2 crore people for every 1 minute. So just in 1 to 2 weeks, he is actually covering the whole population of our nation, ideally speaking. So the number of calls you see, the patterns which is originating from the tower which is originating, can actually help you analyze this kind of unusual calling patterns, the spam calls. Then you have IPDR logs. Now IPDR logs, also you can ask your service provider to provide your IPDR logs. It will give you your internet activity, your IP address. So your mobile, the IP address you have is a dynamic IP address. You do not have a static IP on your mobile handsets. So when you are particularly solving a particular case at a particular time, you actually map it with the timestamp of the time of incident. When did that particular incident happen? With that particular time, what was the IP address of the device allocated? And then you map this correlation. So you actually, if it is involved in other cases earlier, so they just search this particular phone number in their database. If it is there in any other involved cases, they try to open that particular file and see another link analysis. They try to find other phone numbers. Is that number being used in this particular case? So a lot of link analysis can be done, which is not explored to that level. It's only based on call data records they are trying to do this. But based on the previous history of the data and the current numbers, one case is independent of the other case for now. It's only with the manual intervention they are having this visibility to check the previous cases, but it is not automated yet. Like if I give this number, this particular person, this is a suspect, you can pull on all these numbers and you can do it. It is not there. You can do that. Okay. This is the one. Then this is for linked data records. Then machine learning in file carving. So before going to file carving, I would like to show this particular image. This is how your file sits on a disk. Okay. Let us say this is a file. This particular file is of 2 GB. Let us assume it is of 2 GB. Now this particular 2 GB is not allocated continuously. From here to here I will give 2 GB. No, it is not like that. So let us say there existed some file earlier which is now deleted. Okay. Now this space is available. So what my file system does it breaks my file fragmentation. You have heard of it in your operating systems. So what you do is you break your file in such a way that a portion of it will sit here, a portion of it will sit here somewhere randomly. It is not contiguous. The files are not sitting contiguous. They are randomly spread across your disk space based on the availability of the space on your disk. Okay. Now this is called file fragment. Now on this I am saying that you will be applying machine learning. This is not there. This is what we are planning as our next research. The first, we are targeting the fourth one, fragmented file recovery. So what basically happens in forensics is that you are trying to recover a particular file. So let us say the file system is completely damaged. You are not able to load your operating system. Your operating system is not able to load your file system and not able to show you files. What we do is we do the hex dump analysis. I showed you earlier that hex dump, right? Byte by byte, we try to navigate the entire file system byte by byte. When we are doing so, let us assume we see this particular file. When a file begins and when a file ends, you have something called as file header and file footer. So based on file header and file footer, you determine that okay, this is the beginning of the file, this is the end of the file. But what about this particular portion? No trace. You do not know to which this particular block of file belongs to. It is just there in that space. It is not, is it a part of file 1, is it a part of file 2, we don't know it. So when a file is fragmented, it is not possible with the existing forensic tools to construct the entire file, recover the entire file and give this, okay, take this is a file which was actually deleted. Even the deleted file recovery, I tell you, let us assume file 3, let us assume this portion is not there. This is the file. Even deleted file recovery, you can recover only partial file. You cannot recover the complete file. Without file fragmentation, you cannot do that. That is a really serious problem. You are recovering deleted files but which are partial. If let us assume that this is a complete file, this is not there here, then it is okay. It's a complete file. If it's a file is big and it's fragmented, you will be only able to recover the partial file. Again, for the next partial file, you have to go hex by hex. Just understand the tediousness of a forensic analyst. He is going hex by hex, byte by byte, reading byte by byte for terabytes of data. he loses everything in that particular investigation, I tell you. So what we are trying to do in this particular case is that we are trying to, for text-based content, we are trying to use NLP and trying to correlate the file content-based. So here comes the content-based carving. So irrespective of my file header and file footer, based on my file content, how much they are related to each other, block by block, block by block. I'll check the similarity difference between this block to the other blocks, and if they are correlated, I still put it together as a cluster. But still the sequential part, how to sequentialize, this comes after this block, this comes after this block. Even that.
Can I think that as a decoding some unknown language or descripting?
Yes, yes ma'am. Because when you actually encounter this, it is not just that you will have text files, even your PPT files are in random text. You will not be able to make head and tail out of it. That is also a problem. Even though it is a PPT, even though it is a PDF, the content is completely random. I'll show you how does it look like. I have kept a file for presenting this much. So, this is how a file looks like. This is the content. Okay. If you see only this portion, if you see, this is completely. This is an example for data hiding. This is an image file ideally. I actually have the complete file as well, but I am not able to get it. So in this particular image file, if you see, they have hidden a portion of text. Coffee is better than tea. Okay, they have some code language for it. They mean something else what it does mean. So when they are sending this as an image file, until and unless you are going to hex dump, if you open the file using an image image viewer, it will open as an image. But when you are doing the hex dump analysis, you are actually encountering these problems. You are seeing the encrypted content. Encrypted files is a challenge. Image files is a challenge. Compressed files is a challenge. PPTs, PDFs. Plain text is only something which we have figured out with NLP. But video files, audio files, even if this one you may be finding it interesting. I'll show you the screenshot I have. See this particular image. This is an audio file. Okay, this is an audio file with stenography. They have actually embedded this content. You see this one, brainstorm. This is an audio file. When we were trying to analyze this particular file, they had some content which is encoded. This when you play, it plays as a noise. It is some noise. If you hear it, it's just like some noise, air sound. But it is having some content, a message in it. So this is stenography. They are hiding the data. One way they are putting in the image file that we have seen. This is the another way. So such kind of things we are landing up when we are trying to analyze, and we fail to do that. That is a challenge. We fail to identify if it's an image file, if it's a PDF file, if it's an audio file. How do you analyze when the entire content is in the form of hex dump? Only if you get the header portion, file header portion. If you see the file header portion, you will identify, yes, it's an image file, it's a PDF file. You will have the file header information there. But then, even they are tampering file headers also. Okay, what they try to do is they remove or tamper with the file header. The initial portions of the file header is actually completely tampered. You will not know the file format. Or if it's a PNG file format, they change it to .txt. You assume it is txt and you try to open with txt parser. It will not open. File is corrupted. So many challenges are there. If you go at file level, I say you this particular portion in machine learning, it can actually be a boon to forensic community if this are achieved by any chance or by any means. We started with fragmented file recovery for text-based files. At least we started it. But content-based carving, signature-based carving, these are something which we are looking forward for as a solution. This is something which is not available. at file level, at hard disk level, when you get something, it is really difficult to decode what it is. So this is something specific to file carving. Then video and image forensics. This is how it is being done currently. You feed a database of images and you are looking for animations. It will give you that kind of content. It is very simple to implement. It is very simple to train the machine here, but it is being given as a tool. It is a boon for your law enforcement. So this is now used for facial recognitions as well. You do facial recognitions, you do this kind of things, and also number plate analysis, car number plates. All 6 things can be done by using this thing. This is very much exhaustively done. It is being done exhaustively. Now the challenge in this particular domain is deepfake identification. Deepfake. That is a challenge in this particular thing. There was a work which I happened to see where they are trying to actually, adjust some other frames of videos in this particular frame as it is replicating. But for that, what was the finding is that as soon as this particular frame is being inserted in between a series of video frames, there is a complete depression when you are comparing frame by frame. When you are comparing the image frames pixel by pixel, there is a complete depression which is by which we are identifying that it is at this particular position there is some intervention. So that is how currently we are doing in this one, but there is a lot of scope again in this one. These days it is even tough to identify that depression. Just that good. So deepfake and this one, then log analysis. So I wanted to show how a log looks like. So this is how a log looks like. This is an authentication log. We have pulled it from a cloud virtual machine for an application. So this is how a log looks like. So you have the timestamp, you have some message corresponding to that particular log. Now, when you are doing forensic investigations, you are given with such kind of logs in some GBs of data, some terabytes of data. If you look at the log, if you look at logs at cloud, log forensics at cloud, you are ending up with a lot of data, which is really difficult for analysis. For that, if you see, particularly for this, if I do a keyword search, let us say failed login. I'm not sure if I get failed login. Let me do failed. So, if you see failed password, see how many times from the same IP address, failed passwords, failed login attempts, okay, failed passwords from the same IP address again. So on this, can we run some pattern based machine learning detection approaches on this one? Yes, we can, which will ease the job. Okay, we need not, actually this is a textual file which I have taken. I am searching for these words. When I am searching, I will miss many IP addresses. I actually missed many IP addresses when I was trying to investigate this particular file. Many IP addresses. Then I actually happened to use a particular tool which comes with a machine learning support. It gave me directly the IP addresses with failed login attempts. As simple as that. Using that IP addresses, I actually did the remaining investigation. So machine learning based approaches in digital forensics tools are coming. There is huge demand as well. It can be a good startup idea. You all guys are, young, fresh, and you are energetic. You can actually come up with startup ideas. Government is ready to fund for some startups with digital forensics. Government is ready to fund. Okay. Then this is how we analyze logs. So these patterns I was actually asking you, if you can find out these kind of patterns in your log, you can actually design some pattern-based machine learning models which will help you to identify these IP. This is how an IPDR also look like. See, this is the IP address. This is the port at which the particular service is running. Okay, this is the timestamp. You can filter accordingly. So this is how a log file looks like. So on logs, what I was expecting in terms of machine learning is, or at least the community is expecting is, can we have unified log formats? So in cloud, different resources will produce different kind of logs with different file formats. If I show you the different file log files. I'll just show you once. It was a very small application for which we have this many logs. Depackage, kernel logs, front configuration log, message logs, user logs, authentication log, daemon logs. Very simple applications, these many logs. Now just imagine each log had different file format. They have timestamp at the end, error message at the beginning. Some didn't have timestamp at all. So now, at a crime scene, you get logs from different sources. When you are getting logs from different resources, you have to make it as a one single log on which you can apply some analysis. Can you unify logs from different resources and make it as a single log using machine learning applications? You have to identify the patterns and make it as a single log. This is what even Azure, Google and Amazon currently doing. They are calling it as unified log patterns. Okay. On that they are currently doing at cloud level. So failed login attempts, some error messages like privileged escalations. I have suddenly observed that there is a particular role which need not have admin access is currently having admin access. Suddenly. Privilege escalation error logs are also captured in your logs. So based on privilege escalations, based on login attempts, can I have a machine learning model which will give me a holistic view or help me in my timeline or event reconstruction. Event reconstruction based on the timestamps. At this particular time, this particular thing happened. First, it failed login attempts. After a few attempts, it has success. Even if you see the logs, if you see a particular IP address, it has failed multiple times. Suddenly, it says accepted, success login. So that particular IP address with that login message, what is his next activity? He had done privileged escalations. Like he has raised his escalations, privileges for a particular data center which he is not supposed to do. Such kind of frames, words, logs which we can use. The simple NLP should be helping in this particular thing, I believe. So this is what we are looking at, machine learning in log analysis. Then we have tampered file detection. This is where we have seen that steganography file. This one. This one. This is a tampered file. It is ideally an audio file, but it is having some embedded content with some hidden message. So can I identify such kind of files? So what you have to do, you have to train your machine with benign file formats of audio files and then some what we call it, steg files. Yes, we have to train our machine with some steg files. Can we detect it? Yes, very easy to do that. Yes. So this is one for tampered files, and then we have one more thing. File structure analysis. I was talking about header portion being tampered, the footer portion being tampered. Can we detect that? Okay. So when you say you can do this by understanding the file system, I'll not take much time. File structure organization, you will just try to balance the correlationship if the file structure is intact. Is it having a header? Is it having a footer? Is the content complete file is appropriate? If it is having a broken header or a broken footer, you have to suspect that it is tampered. Something like that. Content-based tampering. This is an example of content-based tampering. Which one? This one. This is image file. This is the content. Okay. The content is being tampered. Maybe for some other reasons. But then this is some kind of examples that we can see. Then quickly I'll move to malware detection, which at least I worked in this particular area. Malware detection using machine learning algorithms. I haven't used machine learning. This is my future work plan to use machine learning and do this classifications. So I'll show you very interesting case study. Basically, now I'll take you to whatever we have discussed till now is completely forensics. Okay. Now there is something called as anti-forensics. Anti-forensics is something that it happens even before occurrence of an incident. Forensics, post-incident, anti-forensics. Now I am going to commit a crime. I know that this trace of evidence will be found here, so I'll try to tamper that evidence. Okay. So I try to perform some kind of sabut mitana kind of thing, wiping off the fingerprints. Such kind of thing I'll do. So that is anti-forensics. So what are different types of anti-forensics? Trial obfuscation, data hiding, artifact hiding. We have seen data hiding. We have seen data hiding and trial obfuscation as well. You are manipulating the evidence. You can do that. Artifact wiping. What is artifact wiping now? So see, this is a file content, hello world. This is exactly with the sir that he asked the question. So upon wiping, this content hello world is completely overwritten with some other content. So this is file wiping. Like file deletion, you can still recover the file. But in file wiping, you cannot recover anything. And why is it important? It is important because of this. It is being used as a wiper attack. In the recent warfares across Ukraine and Russia, Israel and Hamas, these are called destructive malwares. They completely destroy the data, like ransomware encrypts the data with an expectation to get some ransomware. But this is not with an expectation to get something, but to cause permanent damage to the opposite country. Many banking sectors, they didn't have the backups, happened to suffer because of these wiper attacks. This is the reason why artifact wiping, it is now being used in cyber warfare. So only it is important, and so it is my area of research. So we actually tried to do malware behavior analysis on this one. How? We actually executed this particular wiper attacks. We launched the wiper attacks in our machines, collected the system call traces. Like let us, for example, this is a system call trace for an LS in your Linux machines, listing the files. This particular system, this is a system call trace for LS. Okay. Now, this is a system call trace for a wiping tool called Shred. If you see the patterns, pattern 1 and LC write data sync, LC write data sync, LC write data sync. Pattern keeps repeating again and again. Why it is happening? Because it is wiping the content again and again, again and again, again and again. There is a repetitive behavior in a way that malware behaves. As we cached this particular repetitive behavior, we checked if this repeated behavior can be captured anywhere in our system logs. In the system logs, we actually were able to capture the repeated behavior, and based on this repeated behavior, we were actually, this is the difference between a benign and a malicious application. If you see, this is the benign. You see the system call patterns 31, 29, 22, something like that. But when if you go to the malicious part, it is 3,000, 15,000, almost 1 lakh also. The patterns are so frequent. The pattern is so frequent that we are able to detect that it is something suspicious. Can we apply machine learning on this? Yes. We can get machine learning based detection technique on this. I haven't done it yet. I'm trying to do this on this one as also on ransomware. Because my assumption on ransomware is because it is encrypting files in your file system, it is repeating the same activity again and again. Because it is repeating same activity again and again, we should be able to see the repetition in the system calls again and again. So that is where we have actually launched on some ransomwares, and also we were able to detect the behavior of the ransomware. Now we are integrating it machine learning to detect and mitigate ransomware as early as possible. So this is how we were doing, this is how we did the wiping attack. Malware behavior detection using machine learning. If you go a bit deeper, these are opcodes. You can see patterns in these things as well, you see. Okay. This is completely random, this is some pattern. So based on the patterns in the system call is a function call with some arguments. The argument calls part is also having some patterns in it. Okay, these patterns can be fed to our machine learning models to detect abnormal. So these are something that we have done. Yes, there is one more thing, file system journals. I'll quickly talk about it, or either 5 minutes I can take. Okay, so quickly I will complete. So this is the final summary of what are different types of applications. There is one part that is left, that is journal. That is again a huge concept, so I'll just skip it for this particular session. So this is the entire summary of what all we discussed in the session today. How you can apply machine learning in which model and when. Any queries you can ask me. Any doubts? Any queries? Yes.
Would you say about FFCCB frequencies and central coefficients?
Sorry, that is something which is out of scope of this lecture. But for what purpose do you want to use it?
Audio tampering.
For that, we want to use.
Mean frequency sector coefficient.
Sorry, I am not aware of that because I am not working in that area, so I can't. Anything else? So my expertise is into file system forensics, audio, image. As I said, image, video, audio. I don't deal with it. So, anything else? If not, then we will stop here. I hope I have justified this session. Thanks for bearing. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Amajit Maman sir.
Really appreciate your time and also your expertise in cybersecurity and forensics. I call upon Dr. M. Kumaraswamy sir to felicitate Pranita ma'am.
Security checks. Thank you very much. Okay. Please join through the after that. Yeah, please.
That's a wrap for session 2, and we'll break for lunch. And after at 2 o'clock we'll be starting the session 3. It will be online. The links we'll be sharing you.